So there's a couple things that I need you to remember before we get started. Can I remind you of those things? What parent function is that? Do you remember? If you don't, you're allowed to say no. Okay, that's fair. It's been a while since we talked about this. I think it was the second day of school. Okay. But I told you we'd get back to it. Well, we're getting back to it as today. Okay. This is the square root function. What is the domain of this function? Well, how far to the left does it go? To 0. How far to the right does it go? Infinity. So we're going to say x is greater than or equal to 0. In inequality notation, what would we say in interval notation? From 0 to infinity, right? What's the range of this function? How far down does it go? To 0. And how far up does it go? Infinity. So y is greater than or equal to 0. That's inequality notation. What does it look like in interval notation? Very good. 0 to infinity. Okay. What's this one? It's a cube root parent function. Okay. What's the domain of this function? I love domain and range of cube roots. Do you know why? Yeah, it's all real numbers, right? So, infinity to infinity, right? And range, how far down and how far up? Same thing. See why I like it? Why do I like it? That's easy, right? It goes all the direction. Doesn't matter where we move it. It's still going to be infinity to infinity, right? Okay. The next part of the notes you have done before, kind of. Okay? So let's see how much you remember. Is that fair? Okay, have you done this before? Kind of, right? Have we done square root functions before? No, we have not. But what have we done? Other functions. And you know about transformation rules with other functions are what? They're the same, aren't they? Okay. So tell me about A. This causes a vertical what? Stretch or shrink. Stretch or compression, right? Shrink and compression, those are the same thing, same kind of words, right? What causes a stretch? If A is what? Greater than 1. What causes a shrink? Close. How about if A is between 0 and 1? What did we leave out here? The negatives, right? So if A is positive, if it's a positive A, what happens to this function? Well, normally, like with the quadratic, we always said that it opens up, right? And if A is negative, we said that it opens down. Whoops. Let's make sure we understand what that means if we're talking about a square root function. Square root function opening up just means like that, right? Just like normal, like the parent, like this one. What does opening down mean? Because what is it actually doing? Mathematically, what are the terms that we need to say there? Over what? The x-axis. Does that make sense? Everybody okay with that? Okay, so what about h? Tell me about h. Horizontal what? It's being added or subtracted, so that's a shift, right? What's the most important part of this word? The F, right? We have to remember the F in this word. Otherwise, it's a different word. Okay? Thank you. So if it's x minus h, which way is it shifting? So that's what we think, right? But remember, if it's inside, it's kind of backwards of what we think. So this is inside the function. Do you see how I mean it's inside the function? So which way is it actually moving? To the right. And if it's x plus h, which way is it moving? Left. So what do we have left to talk about? Okay. So just as a reminder, I know it's our first day back, but remember when I ask you a question, I want you to talk to me, like out loud. Yeah, okay. So what does K cause? If H is a horizontal shift, what's K? Vertical shift. And what direction is vertical? Up and down, right? So I have two choices. I have a positive K and a negative K. Which way is K moving if it's a positive? Up. And if it's a negative? Down. So this I taught you on like the second or third day of school, right? This I taught you more recently, and we've done it several times now, right? Which is, I think, why you were able to adapt so easily to it. Wait a second. What if it actually said y equals a times the cube root of x minus h plus k? Do I have to write all these rules out for you? What does a do? Isn't it all the same things? What does h do? Isn't it all the same things? What does k do? All the same things, right? So I don't have to write all these rules out for you again, do I? You know them all already, yes? So can I do some examples for you then? Okay. Everybody have this that wants it? Okay. Also, as a reminder, we made this foldable. You have all these notes already, but I wanted to give them to you again just to remind you. You remember? Do you have this foldable still? Okay. You can have it out if you would like. It would be probably quite helpful. Okay. All right, some examples. Let's start with this example. Y equals the square root of x plus 5 plus 6. So first of all, please tell me about the transformation. What transformation is it making compared to its parent? What is that, by the way? That's the parent, isn't it? Okay. So what transformation is this making compared to its parent? What's this doing? Left how many? left 5, and then what's this doing? Up 6. So left 5, 4, 5, 6. Now what point is that I just found? Isn't that point? Is there a change in shape? There's no multiplier that changes the shape, right? So it's just still the same shape. It just starts over there. Got it? Talking specifically about the blue function because we already know the domain and range of the original function, right? So just the transform function, just the domain of the new function, what is the domain? How far to the left does it go? Almost. -5, right? We went left 5, so that's -5. So x is greater than or equal to -5. What does it look like in interval notation? From least to greatest, right? So the least is -5 and the greatest is infinity. Remind me again why we don't put a bracket on infinity? Yeah, we don't know where the end of it is, do we? Okay. What about the range of this function? Just this one right here. How far down does it go? Where? 6, right? Isn't that at 6 right there? Okay. So y is what? Greater than or equal to 6. If we're going least to greatest for interval notation, what comes first? 6 to infinity. Got it? Can I show you another? Okay. Let's do this one. Y equals -4. So there's the parent-ish. Tell me how this one moves compared to its parent. What's that doing? Over what? The x-axis, right? I'm going to have to change something in a minute because I messed it up, but we can fix it really easily. Is that okay? Okay. What does that do? Down 4, right? Can somebody tell me what I messed up? Can you see what I did wrong? I did the graph wrong, right? I either did the graph wrong or I forgot my cube. Which one's going to be easier to fix? Yeah, if I write a 3 there, right? Now, I'll tell you this, sometimes this confuses people because we're drawing lines or drawing arrows to things that are different than the parent, right? And they want to draw a little arrow to that 3 and say that does something, right? Except it doesn't. That just gives it its shape, right? That gives it this parent function shape, doesn't it? Okay, so just be careful of that. We're okay. Okay, so if it reflects over the x-axis, instead of going this way, which way is it going to go? It's going to go like this. You see how that's a reflection over the x-axis? And then where does it go? So like that then. Now, which point did I move when I reflected? Well, all of them, right? What point did I move when I shifted it down? Pretty much that one, right? Where it changes direction right here. That's kind of our general point, right? When we did quadratics, we always moved our vertex around, didn't we, right? When we move square roots, we usually move this point right here. And then sometimes we make the sound, we're like right from here, right? It's this point that we're moving around here. Yes, it's every point. I agree with that. But that's kind of our starting point, yes? Okay. What is the domain of our new function? Just the green one. Oh yeah, that's super easy, right? If it's cube root, it's all real numbers. And the range, same thing, right? Any questions?